So, I heard you want to be smarter and more attractive? Well, guess what? It's actually a lot easier than you think. I went from this to this almost automatically. And during the physical glow up, I learned business and content creation to build the platform you see today. How? Because you can level up your brain and your appearance by simply having real fun. Whoa, I know, what a concept in this age of doom scrolling, right? Now, what do you like to do for fun? Most people actually don't know how to answer this anymore, as if hobbies have become a thing of the past. But you're not most people. You know that hobbies are protection against brain rot, mental health struggles, and even aging. Plus, many of you often ask me, what do I do instead of scrolling? So in this video, let's kill two birds with one stone, shall we? Here are 6 hobbies with major benefits that you can start today so you level up in your free time almost effortlessly. Let's go. Tip 0 is the foundation before you start anything. And just like I always talk about with the CEO method where C is cut, you need to first remove the things to give yourself mental and physical space for you to do the hobbies. Now, this differs for different people, but maybe for you, it's being a people pleaser like myself, where you say yes to too many things that you don't actually want to go to, or as I've alluded to, it's your screen time. Now, here's why it's crucial to cut these items, not only to give yourself time, but it's actually to bring yourself more happiness. Activities that you feel obligated to do, or that you resort to doing like scrolling, may feel like you're taking a break or doing something quote unquote good, but think about it. When was the last time when you were on your screens and you actually felt content? Were you happy or were you just escaping? Studies show that genuine happiness reduces stress hormones, improves cognitive function, and even enhances physical attractiveness through better posture and facial expressions. That's why step 0 is to make your overall life goal happiness, and thus cutting out the actions that get in the way of that. Hobby number 1, music. Musical training actually strengthens your neural pathways between brain hemispheres, which enhances your pattern recognition, memory, and problem-solving skills. This translates to both academic and professional success. Just like many Chinese American kids, I learned the piano at a very young age, and research actually shows that learning instruments like the piano makes you better at math. Nowadays, because of our little New York apartment, we don't have a piano, so instead I'm learning the ukulele, and singing along with it. As you can imagine, musical ability will make it a lot easier to serenade on special someone, but we're not just doing everything for other people, it's for ourselves. By practicing and producing yourself something that can lift your mood will not only increase your confidence in yourself, but also your actual brain ability, thereby enhancing your overall appearance. Number 2, a sport. Now, before you go and say, but Amy, I'm not sporty, do things that are more inclusive. No, I truly believe that anyone can do a sport and you don't have to be really good at it in order to reap the benefits. Like everything on this channel, we are looking at being holistic. So yes, later the hobbies in this video will be more directly targeted toward your appearance, but your physical beauty is nothing without your inner health. The sport you can do can range anything from swimming to basketball to tennis to volleyball to marching band and so much more. As long as the sport you're choosing promotes your cardio, you're golden. And that's because regular cardio will increase your blood flow to your brain, which promotes what's called neurogenesis and improves your focus. We need that nowadays. All while cardio simultaneously boosts your energy levels and your physical confidence. The reason why I say sport instead of just running is because a sport can help you with your cardio and your brain at the same time. For example, at Caltech, I was studying chemical engineering, yet I had the opportunity to play on the varsity basketball team. At first, I was like, no way, how can I go to one of the most rigorous programs in the world and play a varsity sport, which requires 3 to 4 hours of practice every single day, not to mention the travel, getting ready, everything else. But what I found interesting was that at basketball practice, I found a mental relief and break from using my brain on chemical equations and math formulas. But at the same time, by memorizing 20 plus basketball plays, I was still keeping my brain sharp. Sports strengthen strategic thinking and split-second decisions that will activate multiple regions of your brain and strengthen executive function, so you can be a better CEO of your own life. Number 3, one of the most attractive things you can do is to go above and beyond of what is expected as normal. And for that reason alone, that's why reading is such a cooler thing to do nowadays. In New York, often I go to events, and when I chat with people, the people I like talking to the most are those who have a lot of facts and knowledge and wisdom in their heads. Great minds discuss ideas, average minds discuss events, small minds discuss people. If you read nonfiction or fiction, you will be able to articulate your thoughts more clearly. Think about it. Would you rather talk with a person who uses brain rot slang every other sentence, or would you talk with a person who can share things you can actually learn from? The person who reads is a lot more interesting because they have interests. When people are on social media too much, or they're consuming brain rot, well, they become less interesting because that information is a lot less likely to stick, and the concepts are probably not as timeless and useful as what is in books. Also, I've actually gotten some comments from you guys where you ask, how do I think of such ideas, or how do I know such concepts that I share in my videos? That's because of reading, and that's exactly why I read for 20 minutes every day at 6 a.m. for 100 days. That was 3 years ago for that challenge. When you read, not only will you be able to quote important things rather than just spitting brain rot, but in this age of AI, if you want to stand out and show your intelligence, it's not necessarily going to be the technical facts that are in your brain, because ChatGPT can pull a million facts in a few seconds. Instead, it is your soft skills that are going to be more important than ever. Reading expands your vocabulary, sharpens critical thinking, and makes you a more engaging conversationalist. People are naturally drawn to those who can express their ideas clearly and reference interesting concepts. This combats against you doing things like the Gen Z stare, and it's scarier because you might not even realize you're doing it. Consuming short spurts of unrelated information rewires your brain to be worse than it actually should be, while reading will rewire your brain in the positive direction. By the way, if you'd like to take it a step further and track your reading progress, I myself have been tracking my hobbies that I want to become habits. In fact, one of my goals I plugged into Exec is to read 5 business books in the next 90 days. So Exec gives me a notification every time around when it's time to go to bed that I should read for 20 minutes. When I don't do the reading habit, the coach will tell me the next day, hey, you didn't complete your habit for a few days. Why is that? And it forces you to reflect on how you can actually change your behavior. Number 4, lifting. Every single person should be in the gym and lift some heavy objects. You might be wondering, why am I talking about so many physical activities when, yes, I get that looking more toned will make you more attractive and healthier overall, but how does it actually help your head? Well, your mind and body are connected. When I was a teenager, I would always go to the gym and only go on the elliptical, only go to the tennis courts, and stay far away from the strength training area where there are these big muscly guys, grunting and lifting hunks of metal, and it just didn't seem like my thing. But then when I started playing basketball more seriously, specifically in college, we were required to lift every other day. And even over the summers when we didn't have basketball practices, we had a training program where all of the exercises we were required to do were lifting. No cardio, no required basketball drills, but more of the emphasis was on training our muscles. Now, I just thought, okay, well, being stronger makes you less able to be knocked down, and obviously that might have some benefits for playing a contact sport like basketball, right? But I discovered through experience that it goes much more beyond that. When I started lifting, firstly, I experienced the obvious physical benefits. I had better strength and a more toned physique, plus it boosted my metabolism, so then I could eat more than I could before. Surprisingly though, building muscle actually also improves your posture. But I also noticed cognitive benefits. See, just like when you're concentrating on your form and you put all your focus and energy for that muscle-mind connection in order to move that heavy object, the physical movements actually increase this thing called BDNF, which is brain-derived neurotrophic factor. I did not know that before preparing this video, but it explains why lifting promotes new neural connections and actually will improve your memory and learning. For many years, I haven't played basketball now, but I still lift every other day because I feel so good after doing it. You know how people say that confidence makes you more attractive? Well, you can't just shout affirmations like, I'm so good, I'm so smart, I'm so pretty into a mirror and then eventually believe them and be confident. That is such a lie. Do not listen to that crap online. But what actually builds confidence is competence. And when you do something that requires such discipline, like lifting, where it's literally rep by rep, you're increasing the weight, getting stronger every single week, That is incredibly empowering. You can literally see the numbers tick up and your muscles getting stronger. That's why lifting is for everyone, not just for gym bros online, because it teaches you patience and the power of consistent effort. These are lessons that transfer to every area of your life, and that's why for many people, lifting is actually a keystone habit, because they put in this habit day after day and they realize, wow, my individual little efforts actually compound into results. Let me try to apply that same effort into my professional life, my relationships, maybe starting an online business. They will then trust in their ability to make things change in their lives. And don't worry, if you are a female, you will not become bulky. I was actually really afraid of that too, so I would never work on my arms, but my husband Sean actually encouraged me to do more bicep curls, to do more back exercises. And now I'm like, bro, I wish I started this earlier because I love how my arms look. I love how my back has those like line things. But yeah, also, isn't it so silly that we have these beauty standards of being like super skinny when literally lifting is the thing that will actually make you healthier, and health equals beauty? Anyway, if you need more convincing, here are just a few more benefits of strength training. Number 5, style yourself. I promised that I would give more explicit, direct benefits to your appearance, but actually what's interesting about this one is that I didn't realize before that this could be a hobby or something that you find fun. When I was in school, I would actually write in my planner every single day the outfit I planned for the next day, or even plan out a whole week's of outfits in advance when I was bored in class. What's kind of funny is that I was known as the smart kid and almost, a little nerdy. So how could you expect that I would be so interested in fashion and styling myself? For the longest time, because my dad wouldn't really understand my interest or the importance of fashion or styling, I would also think that this is unimportant and dressing yourself every day was just something you do by default because you can't leave the house in pajamas. Even so, I couldn't help myself but get really excited when I put together outfits and things like that. Now, fast forward to after graduating college, I was starting my first business management job, and holy crap, this job made me glow down because of how time consuming it was. So I found like it was actually a waste of time to even change my clothes into something that required me to think about. So every day I would wear the same gray or green hoodie that I would borrow from my husband Sean, and I would just look like a hobo at home every single day. What's interesting is that this actually took a mental toll on me that I didn't realize until I moved to New York, and I was like, you know what? I have some time now. I'm gonna dress up. I actually started to put effort into my outfits and have that same joy again like I had in high school and planning out my outfits, and I just felt so much more confident and happier about myself. And then I was more productive at the same time. And obviously, then I seemed more attractive because I was actually presenting myself as someone who cared about herself. That's like a sign of self-love. What I learned from this is that styling yourself is not just something that you can take for granted, because if you're feeling really busy like I was, it can be something you just put off to the side. And that's why I really love thinking of styling yourself as a hobby, where take like an hour or two out of your day where you would reserve that for something you enjoy and go try on outfits, go shopping, learn color analysis, what makes your skin stand out, what makes you like happy, and I don't know, skin stand out sounds weird. I just mean like feeling great in your own skin, discover what your body proportions are.
All right, so if your hips are wider than your shoulders, like me, then you are a triangle. If your shoulders or bust are wider than your hips, then you are an inverted triangle. And if your shoulders, bust, and hips are all pretty similar or around the same, then you are an athletic shape. And if your shoulders and hips are about the same with a defined waist, then you are an hourglass shape.
So like for me, I realized that, wait, low-waisted jeans look weird, and I would wear those all the time in middle school. And then I'm like, wait, skinny jeans also look weird. Wait, also leggings with sneakers look weird. And I realized over time that I like baggy silhouettes, and that makes me look better in my opinion, and therefore feel better. And this styling as a hobby instead of as a default obligation that's like taking time out of your day, this creates a butterfly effect. So even if you're good in school or you're good professionally and you're a good Asian kid like I am, do not feel guilty about spending time on your styling. Number 6, very related to that, is to learn hair and makeup. Again, I think I just would renounce the things that were too girly, that felt like quote unquote a waste of time, because I felt like, especially when I was in school, if I were to spend an extra hour of doing my hair and makeup in the morning instead of sleeping more or studying more, then I was like, what am I doing with my life? And granted, in school and like other circumstances, truly you cannot spend an hour or two on hair and makeup in the morning. But instead, think of that 1 hour of doing hair and makeup, if you enjoy it, of course, as a hobby that you're simply doing in the morning that affects your appearance for the whole rest of the day. I started thinking, oh, well, if I enjoy learning how to play the ukulele for 2 hours a day, well, if I also enjoy learning hair and makeup, then just because this seems like a normal activity doesn't mean I can't spend time on that, right? It's just like cooking can be a hobby, even though cooking can also be a thing that you do every single day because you need to. Also, girlies, this is real news, okay? Studies show that women who wear makeup earn about 40% more than women who don't. And that's because, right, pretty privilege, halo effect, whatever you want to say. I used to deny it so much too. I don't know why. I think it's probably just coping when I was in school. Like I would see like girls show up to school flawless and I'd be like, nah, I couldn't do that because I'm too busy studying. And so I would kind of be like forcing myself to feel better about not having the time to do these, and also just telling myself, oh, I'll figure it out when I have time, even though I always wanted to learn how to enhance my own appearance with these girly things. And so then going into my 20s, well, guess what? You're always going to have busy things to do. So, now running my business, running the channel, I'm still really busy. And so for a couple years, I was still not learning hair and makeup. But finally, starting last year, because I had my wedding and I got professional hair and makeup done both in Guatemala and in China, I realized, wow, makeup does make a big improvements on you. And I don't want to reserve looking that amazing in 0.01% of my life. I want to learn that skill myself so I can always feel this great. And this is not to say that in order to be attractive, you must have your hair and makeup done, right? This is just like hobbies that will improve your appearance, right? But truly these mainstream things do make a difference in how you feel about yourself and how you show up to the world. And that is exactly why today I have a new makeup look that I've never done before, but that I'm so happy about. And tonight I have a surprise birthday party that I'm hosting with a friend for a friend. I'm just really proud of how I took essentially my fate into my own hands and learned. I was telling myself that if I can learn thermodynamics, I can learn how to put eyeshadow on my face. This is truly one of the best makeups I've ever done because, again, I never really learned makeup when I was a teenager. And honestly, I haven't really learned makeup until my mid-20s. So by partaking in this hobby for the past few months, I've literally improved and developed this skill by having fun, which automatically gives me benefits. Overall, at the end of the day, if you are happy and healthy, your beauty is already 100% of the way there. Everything else is just an enhancement. And if it makes you more happy, then guess what? Your happiness meter will then automatically also boost your health, which also then enhances your beauty. It's not like a actual numerical scale, right? I'm just like trying to share. But in general, all of these things, what I was sharing about, styling and hair and makeup too, don't be fooled. They actually do develop your brain because they are still skills to learn. And over time, you will get better at each of them and feel more confident in yourself. All the hobbies I've shared today are ones I personally actually partake in. So I'm not just sharing them like, hey, you should do these. I can attest to their impact, and I'm really excited for you to try them consistently, which you can track with my app Exec. And if you're interested, you can use the link below. And of course, after taking action, let me know how it's going, how it's affected your life and your confidence. And thank you so much. Make sure to like, and I will see you at the top.